ACC softball today on the ACC Network Extra. It is the final game of the regular season. 21st ranked Duke and NC State doing battle here in Raleigh today at the Dale Softball Stadium. Along with Brentley Patridge, my name is Andrew Sanders from our studio location. Hello, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for joining us here on this Sunday. Beautiful day for softball, beautiful day for these teams to close out the regular season. They're getting into postseason mode, and they know that they might meet once again in the ACC tournament.
You're absolutely right. I mean, great day to finish off the season, but Duke and NC State could see each other in Louisville for the ACC tournament.
If the season ended today, and it does, but there's still, that's the old cliche, right? But there are still some things to be decided. We know that Duke has the 3 seed. They have clinched that. Clemson and Florida State still to be decided who will be the number 1 seed. And also the 6th spot. Will it be NC State or Louisville? Because we know Duke is 3rd, NC State or Louisville will play the Blue Devils in the ACC tournament. Here's what happened in this series so far. Duke going for a road sweep, and they've been doing it really because of the long ball.
The long ball has really been a part of this Duke lineup this weekend, and it started off with the bang Friday night. 4 home runs in the very first inning against NC State, jumping out to a quick 8-0 lead, and the Blue Devils have not looked back since.
And so looking to hold this Blue Devil offense in check. Brooklyn Lucero, as you see the numbers, making just her 5th start, does not have a ton of innings under her belt, but in this series specifically, she's probably been the most effective pitcher for NC State.
She absolutely has, Andrew. She's been fantastic.
First pitch swinging, Deja Davis. Nice start for Duke. And how many times have we said that in this series? I think that's one of the keys for Lucero today, is that Duke has taken a first inning lead in all 3 games. It's crucial for her to put up a 0 here. So Davis already aboard with a first pitch single, and here is Giselle Tapia. Once again, trying to attack the first pitch. And what we've seen from this Duke lineup, up and down, 1 through 9, they have been able to hit in this series.
And I think something that bodes well for these Blue Devils today, you mentioned Brooklyn Lucero, not a lot of innings this season, but she's thrown quite a few this weekend against Duke. So a little bit of familiarity for Duke against Lucero, as you see right there. Went the distance for the first time in her career. 7 innings, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts. She did end up getting the loss, but she's been very effective against Duke.
Bunt laid down and a good one. Lucero will handle it, and now the throw down to third, and Davis takes an extra base. Aggressive base running for the Blue Devils. Really? How about that? First to third on a sac bunt.
Well, that was well played by Duke. You saw Logan Morris crashing on the sacrifice bunt attempt here. And you see Lucero and Morris, a little bit of miscommunication, and no one at third base. Sam Sack trying to get down there in time, but with the speed of Deja Davis, turning what is normally a sac bunt into a 2-base advantage, and Duke threatening early in this one.
Lucero misses outside to Cameron Jackson. I know you don't get credit for it, but if I'm Giselle Tapia, I'm saying, can I get credit for 2 sacrifices right there? She got 2 bases.
And the fact that Deja Davis is able to help her do that, that's just an upperclassman knowing the game. You've won 3 already. If you can find a way to score here in the first, it really puts the pressure on NC State to try to salvage the series, and you're already down. And so by moving all the way from first to third on that sacrifice, just well done by Deja Davis.
Cameron Jackson a little bit out in front with a golden RBI opportunity now with a runner on third and only 1 out. And with Davis, she had played shortstop. Knee was bothering her a bit. We've seen her in the outfield in this series, and she's the designated player today. So obviously she is not at her full mobility, and yet she's still able to run the bases at that high of a level.
It just shows the athleticism that Deja Davis possesses, and just such a problem that she can be on the base pass. And you notice NC State, they're not necessarily playing infield in right now, but they're definitely not playing normal depth at this point. It shows the importance of this first run in this ball game. April Visser a little bit shaded back, but Randy Farraker is even between short and third.
Rolls over to the right side, and that is going to be the only play at first. So Davis actually stayed put at third base there. That infield in was enough to keep her at third. I thought, given the aggression that she showed on the bunt play, that she would try to break for home there. Here's a look at the NC State defense. And this was a team that has been shorthanded throughout this series, and now back much closer to full strength. Some of the mainstays back in the lineup.
Yeah, the speed of that outfield, Russ, Rizzi, and Forbes, one of the fastest outfields in the ACC. If it gets into the grass in the air, there's a very good chance that one of those three is going to be able to secure the catch. And, you know, it's funny, we just talked, just lauding Deja Davis for her base running skills. And, yeah, the infield was in there, but that was such a slowly hit ball. With her speed, I thought she could have easily scored on that.
Lucero elicits a swing and a miss from Jamison Cavell. And again, Duke has taken the lead. Now, that number's going to balloon a bit when you put up 8 in an inning in the first inning on Friday. But, you know, to the Blue Devils' credit, on both games yesterday, also able to score in that first inning and set the tone. So Duke has not trailed in this series.
No, and it's so important to score in the first inning. As we get a look at the Duke coach, Marissa Young, being able, especially on the road, to score first makes it so much harder on the opposing team.
Yeah, it's certainly not an advantage to be on the road. It's hard to win in this league on the road, but if there is kind of the silver lining, it's you have the opportunity to score first, and Duke has made the most of that opportunity. But Lucero just one pitch away from potentially getting out of this bit of trouble here in the first. Runner on third with only 1 out. They get the ground ball, keeping Davis at third base. But Jamison Cavell has been extremely dangerous, not just in this series, but this year. Count moves full.
You know, you're absolutely right about that. Jamison Cavell, one of the most dangerous batters in this Duke lineup. And, you know, we mentioned them being on the road. The only thing about this series for Duke being on the road is the fact that they're not playing at home. I mean, they're going home each night, staying in their own beds.
Jam shot into center. There's Angie Rizzi. And so Lucero is able to strand the runner at third. Lucero puts up that crucial 0, and Angie Rizzi will lead off the Wolfpack when we return. Bottom of the first inning, and Peyton St. George takes over in the circle for Duke. A look at what she has done this season, and what she's done has been one of the best in the ACC, Brantley.
She really has. I mean, she's bolstered this Blue Devil pitching staff. You know, her and Shelby Walters, as Coach Young said, are the 1 and 1A. But St. George has really carried the mantle this weekend. You know, came in yesterday after NC State, was able to get 2 runs and kind of shut the door to secure the series for the Blue Devils.
Check swing from Angie Rizzi, who leads off for the Wolfpack. Tati Forbes, Logan Morris, also back in the lineup. We saw a check swing, and that's something that Jennifer Patrick Swift, head coach of the Wolfpack, doesn't like to see a lot of. There she is looking on. When her players go, she wants them to swing all the way. Yeah, just full commitment to driving the ball out of the park.
Yeah, no half swings, no excuse me swings, no nothing. If you're going to swing, you're going to put everything you got behind it and try to drive it over that fence.
Now, obviously, they still very much preach, having an approach and pitch selection. But it's once you make up your mind that you are going to swing, don't overthink it. And I think that has really paid off for this NC State team, just that approach. You see what they did last year. Best start in program history through 15 games. And this season, right there on the precipice of making the NCAA tournament. They've got some work to do as Rizzi strikes out. And a win here against Duke, and perhaps, if they win, it is very likely that they will play Duke once again, get some momentum, and a couple of games against Duke, they feel like they can really build their resume and get in to that tournament right now, just on probably the outside looking in, depending on which prognosticator you look at.
I mean, the obvious answer is win the tournament and you're in.
Simple.
There's no doubt about it.
And they want to win the ACC championship, no doubt.
Exactly. But I can tell you, watching Florida State and Clemson so far, they're so tough. But NC State, they knocked off #1 Virginia Tech last year in the tournament. You see some defensive changes here in the infield for Duke for Tati Forbes.
Yeah, Caroline Jacobson in right field is in as well. So you go 5 infielders to defend against one of the best slappers in the country.
And we saw this for the first time, at least that I've seen, yesterday with Gracie Roberts for NC State. They brought in one of their outfielders, I believe it was Jacobson yesterday as well, to kind of play that rover position, I guess you want to call it that.
Sure.
To bring in, someone who's a slapper is intentionally trying to put the ball softly on the ground and beat it out for infield singles. So by bringing in another defender makes it that much more difficult.
And you see the approach, and that's what slappers are going to do. They're going to hit to the left side more times than not. So basically daring Forbes to hit one on a line over the right side and into right field. And, with her speed, if she could put one over there, she could be running for a long time.
But it's that risk-reward factor.
Absolutely.
Very rarely do you see a slapper actually bat a ball in play in the air. It's, on the ground more times than not.
That's just what it's designed to do.
And it's an interesting decision. It's a very much risk-reward. It can work out for you as it did yesterday with Gracie Roberts. But if, like you mentioned, if for some reason Forbes is able to get one into the outfield, she could be running for quite a long time. But you've noticed every single pitch, because of this shift, has been on the outer part of the plate, not even giving her an opportunity to try to pull one down that right field line.
Did she go? Yes, she did. Strikeout #2 for Peyton St. George. And I think a great point really highlighted there by that last pitch. The plan is pitch on the outer part of the plate, and it worked out beautifully. Here's how the defense normally stacks up for Duke when there's not a slapper at the plate. Again, Deja Davis is the designated player today, so it's Jacobson out in right field. Randy Farraker takes strike 1. I don't think she was super pleased about that one. Peyton St. George has got the paintbrush out early.
Yeah, she is. She's channeling the inner Greg Maddox with painting on those corners. And that's what she does. She when she's effective, and she's been effective pretty much all season long. You saw that ERA just under 2. When she's painting like this, she is that much more difficult to hit.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Sometimes I follow games just by following the stat broadcast. So had Forbes batted a ball to Jacobson there and thrown her out at first base, in the stat it would have said a 9-3
ground out.
You're like, and you're wondering, well, how in the world did she get thrown out? How did a speedster get thrown out from the right fielder, assuming they're in right field?
That is a great point. And as you see more and more shifting going on, I think that's how the game has continued to evolve. And why not? Especially if you have a pitcher with the type of command of St. George, you know you can trust her to put it on the outside part of the plate. As you say, it's risk-reward, but the risk is lessened, and the reward is, look, there's 3 defenders on the left side of the infield, so if you hit it on that side, good luck. The odds are in Duke's favor there.
Well, they are, and they the statistics show, you don't make those decisions unless there's stats to back it up. You're not going to move an outfielder into the infield when someone is, a perennial puller of the ball. So by throwing on the outside corner, it's a slapper. The numbers show that this, more times than not, works in the favor of the defensive team.
Payoff pitch. Got it in on the hands.
St. George really trying to get under the hands of Farrakher. If you want to call the weak point in the ACC home run leader, is if you've got some velocity like St. George has, if you can get it underneath her hands, at worst you're going to get a weakly hit batted ball in the air on the ground because of it being jammed. Or a lot of times you get swings and misses.
And a 2-out walk drawn by Farrakher. Farrakher will bring up Sam Russ. So quite a few lineup changes today for NC State, and one of those is Sam Russ. From Friday, we saw Russ leading off for NC State. Well, she can drive the ball out of the ballpark too, and she can bat cleanup.
Yeah, I believe this is the first time this season that Sam Russ will be the cleanup batter for NC State. We've seen her 1 or 2 pretty much all season long. So in the 4-hole today, Coach Jennifer Patrick Swift changing things up a little bit. But I also like what she's doing. She's alternating righty-lefty, righty-lefty with, Rizzy, then Forbes the lefty, Farrakher, then Russ the lefty, then Morris and Sack the lefty. So you're giving a pitcher something different to look at each time.
And after a couple of strikeouts, St. George, right after I had commented on her excellent command, it's gone away from her a bit. Falling behind 2-0. There's a nice pitch for a strike. Sam Russ, well, she's been clutch. Georgia Tech certainly finding that out. 2 walk-off home runs in that series.
Yeah, it was fantastic getting to watch Sam Russ during that Georgia Tech series. Twice NC State needed her, and she came through both times with home runs. Excuse me, one of them was a walk-off home run. The other was a single into the outfield that ended up being the difference in the ball game.
Pitch count way up for St. George here in the first inning.
And ideally, she'd like to try to get out of this at-bat here, because with Logan Morris on deck, leading the team in RBIs at 44, she bats often with runners aboard.
Right.
It's the last person you want to see in this NC State lineup with runners in scoring position.
And she walks Russ. So Logan Morris will come to the plate here in the first inning. And she will have an opportunity to give NC State its first lead of the series. Well, back in the lineup today for NC State. Some returning production, yeah, quite a bit. Morris with 9 homers and 44 RBI. We've also already seen Rizzy and Forbes.
Well, I mean,
that's a jolt for NC State.
Your top 3 hitters in average, unavailable Friday night, back in for the game here on Sunday. So you'd have to imagine this gives NC State a little bit of a confidence boost seeing these 3 back in the lineup.
And after back-to-back walks, St. George finds the strike zone. Morris from Sumter, South Carolina. First player in NC State history from the state of South Carolina.
That swing right there, and tried to give NC State a 3-run lead here in the first. She put everything she had behind that one, but that's like we talked about, Jennifer Patrick Swift. If you're going to swing, and she wants her girls swinging, you're going to swing with everything you got.
Hit by pitch, bases loaded. So the free base is really starting to rack up in this first inning. Walk, hit batter. And now it's Sam Sack coming to the plate. We get another look and just ran up and in.
It's interesting to see here the bases loaded for NC State, especially after the way the bottom half of the first started. A K looking and then a K swinging. You know, you would think St. George is off to a great start, and then she finds herself in a bases loaded jam here in the first.
Sack swings through that one. Wolfpack gonna swing for the fences.
And NC State really hasn't had a whole lot of runners on this weekend, so now that they've got the base loaded, they need to try to find a way to capitalize and get at least one, maybe more.
Just trying to let a little bit, obviously Duke has been dominant in this series. That boosts your confidence a ton. The Wolfpack just trying to provide the Blue Devils with just a hint of doubt. Say this Sunday noon game might not go as well. Takes a little something off. Sack out in front, 2-2. Well, game 3 was by far the most competitive of the series. NC State had its opportunities. Pushed across a couple of runs, but left 7 on base. 2-2 pitch. Sack defending well there.
And throughout the weekend, you know, we saw the combined no-hitter on Friday night and only giving up 1 run in game 1 yesterday, but in game 2 of the doubleheader, NC State able to get 2 runs across. Did fall by that final score of 4-2, but as you saw right there, they had runners aboard, so they've kind of gotten into it a little bit better.
Peyton St. George strikes out the side. Well, it was not simple. Bases loaded, gets out of the jam with her 3rd K. Look at the current standings in the ACC, and Louisville falling in game 1 of their doubleheader to North Carolina, so that makes things a little more simple for NC State. Win this game, and they have locked up that 6th seed.
Yeah, so now that it's in their hands, if they find a way to win this game, like you said, locked up in the 6th seed. If they were to lose this, they would need a Chapel Hill victory in the 2nd game of the doubleheader to control that 6th seed going into the ACC tournament. So a win, and they're guaranteed to face Duke.
Because the math wasn't as complicated as you can sometimes see in these final game scenarios, but there were quite a few different things that could have happened, and that's the good news for NC State is they knew coming in that if Louisville would win both, then regardless of the outcome, Louisville would pass them. So that is no longer on the table as one of the potential routes into the tournament. Win and into the 6th spot against this Duke program. Lose and still up in the air, whether depending on Louisville and North Carolina. North Carolina needed a win, so they'll be the 10 seed. So there is it's basically locked in now. NC State will be playing a rival in the ACC tournament, either the 3 seed Duke or the 10 seed North Carolina.
And the difference is so big because if NC State is able to lock up that 6 seed, they get, the day off.
This ball deep to left and out of the yard. Christina Foreman, have yourself a weekend.
Coming into today's game, an even 500, 2 home runs. Well, she just adds to it, her 3rd of the weekend, now 6 for 11. And you can see the team just so excited for her. And she just gets a pitch over the middle of the plate and hits an absolute laser over that left field wall. A no-doubter for sure.
Just a line drive. Right on out, and what a momentum shift that is for Duke. Foreman just continues to get the job done. And the next batter, Rachel Crabtree, hit by the very first pitch. And so she is aboard. But you think about the momentum, they got Deja Davis to 3rd with 1 out in the first inning, couldn't cash in. NC State, bases loaded with 2 outs. And things were looking a little precarious there for Duke, as well as they played in this series. But Peyton St. George striking out Sam Sack, and then Foreman leads off with a solo shot.
Well, that's what veterans do. St. George appeared to be cruising, gets 2 quick strikeouts to start the bottom half, then loses her control. 2 walks on 3-2 pitches, a hit by pitch. But she finds a way to settle herself down, gets a big strikeout of Sam Sack, and it put that momentum that was potentially shifting towards the NC State dugout back in the Blue Devil dugout, and Christina Foreman wasting no time putting the Blue Devils ahead.
Caroline Jacobson pulls the bat away. It's ball 1.
The right fielder / rover for this Duke lineup.
Yes. Not bunting here. NC State will get 1, and that's it. So they get the lead runner, Crabtree. A 4 unassisted fielder's choice.
And well done there by Crabtree. Instead of running into the tag and potential double play, by stopping and backtracking a little bit, forces Visser to have to go tag her, allowing Jacobson to reach safely. So a double play thwarted by running prowess.
Kelly Torres. Catcher takes low. Ball 2. Yeah, that was really a heads-up play. And it's always funny because normally you just think about base runners just running straight line as fast as you can. I don't know if you saw, I think it was just a few days ago, I believe it was Juan Soto and Reese Hoskins, where just a ground ball to first base, and the tag was going to be applied, and Soto just kind of stopped, and they had a fun little moment where they both just looked at one another and froze for a couple of seconds, and Hoskins faked like he was going to turn around and go step on the bag himself, and then as Soto was waiting for him to turn his back so he could try to sneak around him, and then Hoskins applied the tag.
It's always going to be a kid's game, no matter what age you are, what rank you're playing, whether it's Little League or the professionals.
Got to have some fun out there. Foul tip and a full count. And so, obviously, in that situation, the out was going to be recorded. But in this situation especially, just sometimes changing your base running. We saw Duke yesterday in game one, late in the game, try to get into a rundown when you got runners on the corners. There are a lot of things you can do with base running, and sometimes, you know, it's not always breakneck pace going to the next base. Sometimes there is some benefit involved to putting on the brakes and maybe being a little more strategic.
Yeah, that delayed steal on that first and third play, it was interesting how they did it, but NC State played it perfectly. Pitcher got it to one of their defensive players and let them do their job, and that's what you got to do. And you know, kudos to Coach Young and this Blue Devil staff trying to create runs, manufacture runs other than the home run or the batted ball. If you're able to do it by base running, then by all means go for it.
That is just off the plate, and a really nice at bat by Kelly Torres.
And you see Lucero there not too pleased with that call. She thought she had it on that 3-2 pitch, but you know, Torres, a freshman, showing, you know, a good eye there at the plate, letting that 3-2 pitch go. Ideally, you don't want to make the decision, the umpires, but she felt that one was away and let it go.
Both pitchers, you got to look just a moment ago, Lucero now 18 strikes, 15 balls. Both pitchers, St. George had a couple of walks and hit a batter in that first inning. They have struggled to stay in that strike zone consistently. Kyla Morris, 9-hole hitter with 2 on and only 1 out. That works out just beautifully. Couldn't have bunted it any better. That swinging bunt by Morris, and then used the wheels, and Sack had no play at any base. So the bases are loaded for Deja Davis. Here's what she's done in this series. First inning, that was to make it 8-0. And then in game 2, set the tone. Already 1 for 1 today with a single.
And Christina Foreman with 3 on the weekend. So Deja Davis trying to match her, or could match her here with a big fly of her own. You know, we talk about Duke, not necessarily, at least compared to NC State, the home run hitting team, but they have really done it so far this weekend. 10 home runs now in this 4-game set.
Pitch just at the knees or even a bit lower, called strike. Davis, a top 25 finalist for National Player of the Year. And nowhere to put her here for Lucero as she falls behind in the count once again.
And a well-deserved honor for Deja Davis. Comes into the weekend just below 400, but the way she's been swinging it, she's now over 400 at a 406 clip, and she just really is the spark plug for this Duke lineup. She gets on, they find ways to score.
Pitch number 40 for Lucero is high, ball 3.
Tensions are high here in Raleigh early on this ballgame. As you mentioned, nowhere to put Deja Davis. So Lucero's going to have to find a way to get something over the plate to try to manufacture an out.
Davis, one of the toughest to strike out. Came into this series just 13 on the season. And she hits it hard up the middle and into center field. Stop sign given at third, so they will just move station to station here. 1 run across. Second single of the game for Deja Davis makes it 2-0 Duke.
And she didn't try to do too much with that pitch from Brooklyn Lucero. quality pitch on a 3-2 count, but she just gets enough of the barrel on it and by the pitcher and just into center field. And with the arm that Angie Rizzi has, Duke holding the runner there at third. It's probably a smart move as the throw from Rizzi was right on target.
And only one out. And so Coach Young holding Torres, the catcher, at third. And you got Giselle Tapia coming up. Tapia, the highest ranked signee in Duke history, came in as a top 30 recruit. Get a look at the numbers, a chance to add to that RBI total here in the second inning. A chance to add to that 2-0 Duke lead. Got that two-base sacrifice we were talking about in the first that maybe it could count as 2 sack hits.
There's no sacrifice opportunity here, at least with the bunt.
Right.
For Giselle Tapia. She's trying to put something into the air, into the outfield, and give Duke at least a 3-run lead.
Had a couple of hits on Friday, including the 2-run home run. Farraker going to go home with it, and safe is the call as Sack was pulled off of home plate. Just a hair high on the throw, and that allows Torres to score and make it 3-0.
And you see right here, Tapia just gets it a barrel on the ball. I mean, it was in the other batter's box. Farraker ranging up. And it does appear that when she came off home plate, that is Sam Sack, she was unable to get that back foot onto the plate. This would be our best look right there, and I think that is the right call looking at it right now.
Cameron Jackson, huge day yesterday. Hitting right in the middle of this Duke order. And Lucero going to have to be very careful with her. And Sack will come out.
And like you mentioned, Duke just going from station to station right now. Base hits, infield hits, and you see why Cameron Jackson has been a problem for NC State. That big fly right there down the right field line. And then she does it again. So 2 home runs on the weekend for Cameron Jackson. I feel like we've said that a few times about these Duke players with Deja Davis, Jackson, Foreman.
Had a triple as well. So Morris is at third, Goddard at second, Tapia at first. Jackson trying to give the Blue Devils the big hit.
And this has kind of been the Blue Devil MO this season. Yeah, they can run the ball out of the ballpark, no doubt. We've seen it here this weekend, but going from station to station, singles and doubles, that's what the Blue Devils do.
Yeah, it came in, NC State leading the ACC in home runs, Duke leading the ACC in doubles. And that is kind of more how they are built. Not necessarily looking to drive the ball out of the ballpark at all times, but drive gap to gap.
Gaps and lines, that's what they do. And with the speed, sometimes, softly hit balls in the outfield can be hard-earned doubles.
Well, I believe that hit Jackson is going to be ball 4 either way. And it'll bring in another run. Morris touches home. Goddard to third. Tapia to second. And Jackson at first. And a 4-0 Duke lead.
Yeah, it looks
And
like
no, it
just
did not hit her.
I thought it might have maybe have caught the quad or the thigh of the left leg, perhaps.
Because live, I thought that it did, as Lucero will hand the ball off. Yeah, they do rule it officially as a hit by pitch. Okay.
I mean, regardless, like you said, it was ball 4. So another Blue Devil run was going to cross home plate. It was going to be 4-zip. But, you know, whether it goes down as a hit by pitch or ball 4, I mean, for the coaching staff and the pitcher, it's irrelevant. They didn't want to walk another run in.
So Lucero out and Nestor in for the Wolfpack. Brooklyn Lucero, an inning and a third. It had a relatively good first inning, able to strand a runner on third base. And in this second inning, ran into some trouble. The leadoff home run by Christina Foreman got it started, and 4 runs allowed. She's also responsible, obviously, for all 3 base runners.
Yeah, it's been a tough start for today's game for Brooklyn Lucero, but NC State going to their pen now, bringing in Sydney Nestor, their most veteran arm in the circle. 7-9 on the season, ERA just under 4. Eclipsed the century mark this weekend in innings pitched, and she inherits a bases-loaded jam.
Cable, the batter, looks at a strike. Lined out to Rizzi in center field in her first at bat. Dipped the average just under 350. Quickly 0-2.
I would take that every day of the week to have my average dip
Just
under
350.
just shade under 350. I would take that every day of the week.
Just a standout player and a standout person for this Duke program. Coach Young was asked, you know, is there any player that maybe is a little under the radar, or you know, that you feel like is just, you know, had a huge contribution? And she said, yeah, easily, Jamison Cable. Doesn't want the spotlight, but deserves it. As this gets through sack, and that's going to allow Goddard to touch home, everyone will move up, and Duke, even without damage done by Cable to this point, able to add to the lead.
And an uncharacteristic, you know, pass ball there. I'm not sure how they'll score it, but Sam Sack's so good behind the plate. Usually anything in the dirt, she's able to body it up and keep it in front, but that one just goes right through the 5-hole and allows the 5th run to score.
And Cable was on that one. Straight back. It will be scored as a wild pitch.
Yeah, I think that, and that's the right call too, because the pitch goes below the dirt. It wasn't like it was in her glove and just popped out. So I mean, but if you ask Sam Sack, she will tell you every time she should have blocked that.
Three balls and 2 strikes here on Cable. First base now open after the wild pitch. And she is just battling Sydney Nestor here.
No strikeouts for the Wolfpack pitchers today, so this would be a great opportunity for NC State to get Cable down on strikes.
And another hit batter. That's the 3rd of the inning. And the Blue Devils have batted around.
More importantly, it loads the bases again for Duke, so nowhere to put Christina Foreman.
Maybe, you know, Duke's got a few hot hitters right now, but maybe nobody swinging a hotter bat than Christina Foreman.
I mean, she led off the inning with the home run, so, you know, to get the opportunity to bat again, bases loaded this time, add to that RBI total.
Down and in, 2-0 on Foreman. 3 home runs in the series. Blue Devils second baseman.
And another one here, Andrew, would blow this game wide open here in this second inning. You know, NC State, they can hit home runs. There's no deficit too large for this Wolfpack team, but, you know, giving up 5 runs already, Duke's still threatening with more. Got to try to stop the bleeding somehow and get your team back into the dugout.
Count evens at 2-2. Foreman, no stranger to driving in runs for the Blue Devils. We've talked about her exploits in this series, but, you know, going back to the last real full season, back in 2019, she led Duke in RBIs that season.
And that's not surprising. She's got a great swing, solid balance there from the right side. She's able to stay back on off-speed pitches and spoil good ones from opposing pitchers. That pitch right there from Sydney Nestor was a quality pitch, and Foreman just, you know, fouls it off down the right side to try to preserve the at-bat.
Here comes Nestor's 2-2 pitch. And another full count. Foreman is the 10th batter to come to the plate in this inning. As I mentioned, they bat around, and it seems like every single one has been an absolute battle. Foreman goes down and chases what probably would have been ball 4, and Farraker able to get the out at home.
That's a big play for NC State. You're able to record it out without giving up another run, and as you mentioned, likely ball 4, but you're in a 3-2 count. I mean, there's been, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full counts this inning. So, I mean,
I'm glad you keep track of that, because that's what I meant. I mean, it feels like, you know, every batter has been a battle for this Wolfpack pitching staff, whether it be Lucero or Nestor. Crabtree into left, and Russ is there. So Duke with a huge second inning. It could have been a lot more. 5-0 Blue Devils. Duke with a massive second inning. 5 runs across on just 3 hits, but had 3 batters hit as well and able to draw a walk. So the free bases were handed out, and the Blue Devils making NC State pay. It's been a long sit in the dugout for Peyton St. George, and now she gets back to work for her second inning. She did strike out the side in the first, although she allowed bases loaded. Again, free passes, couple of walks, and a hit batter. So the pitchers that we have seen today, Brantley, have not been able to pound the strike zone with their normal frequency.
No, they haven't, and I'm interested to see how St. George responds after that long layoff. We talked about it. You know, what would you prefer? Would you like to have a bunch of runs scored before you throw your first pitch, as Shelby Walters had on Friday night, getting spotted 8 before she threw her first pitch? Or would you rather have, you know, have a big inning at some point during the game? And it's, like I said, I want to see how St. George responds after that layoff in trying to do the ultimate throw up a 0 here, get your team back into the dugout, keep the momentum on your side.
Facing the bottom of the NC State order, April Visser, Gracie Roberts, Haley Hayslip. Peyton St. George, part of the 1-1 punch with Shelby Walters. Normally you call it the 1-2, but this Duke program, they feel like really they have two aces in both Walters and St. George as she walks Visser. And no hits, but 4 base runners allowed now. 3 walks and a hit batter. And here comes Gracie Roberts, who gets the start as the designated player. Got her first college hit yesterday. Trying to see if, keeping the slapper in. This is a home run hitting team, but there are a couple of slappers in the lineup, in Tati Forbes and now Roberts. And hitting home runs is great, but they would prefer to hit home runs, obviously, not solo shots. You want some runners on base.
And that's why you put somebody like Gracie Roberts in the lineup. Hit it into the ground, and she got her first hit, last night with the bases loaded and beats out that throw down from the third baseman. But going back to St. George, very uncharacteristic so far today. 29 walks going into today's game. She's already issued 3. 165 strikeouts to now 32 walks. So St. George, she's appeared in 3 games this weekend. So maybe there's a little bit of fatigue in there. 4-game series as opposed to the 3-game. That's an extra game for everybody, but more importantly to the pitchers.
Yeah, it's been a lot more. We were talking about this a little bit on Friday. It's been a lot more for these coaching staffs to juggle 3-game series. You can go with your ace probably in game 1 and 3, throw your second pitcher in game 2, simple enough. But you add in that 4th game, and especially if things don't go smoothly, right? If you do face some trouble, some tough innings, you got to have a little more depth. St. George gets back to throwing strikes, and all 4 outs she's recorded have been strikeouts.
It's just a great pitch there from St. George. Right down the heart of the plate. Roberts appeared to be looking for something either away or off speed, but just a pitch right down the middle of the plate. Now you see 4 strikeouts.
Yeah.
All 4 outs recorded by St. George via the strikeout. So being a little selfish, I would say, as a pitcher.
Making it tough on the defense.
Exactly.
Making it tough, You've got Duke is once again going to bring, this is Haley Hayslip's spot initially, but it's going to be Bridget Nordberg to hit here. With 1 on and 1 out.
Well, seeing as we were talking about Duke being located in Durham, the classic baseball movie, Bull Durham, where the catcher Kevin Costner goes out and talks to the pitcher and says that strikeouts are bad, get ground balls.
Want to keep your defense engaged, and so far through 8 hitters, it's been no balls put in play. Yeah, strikeouts are bad, ground balls are good. Candlesticks are a nice choice. It's a good gift.
Trying to figure out what to get Millie for her wedding.
Candlesticks are a nice choice.
Yeah, of all the classic baseball movies, I would have to say Bull Durham is probably my favorite. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it hits home being right down the street from us.
Yeah. At the old now they play at the DBAP, Durham Bulls Athletic Park, but at the DAP, the Durham Athletic Park. I will respectfully disagree with you.
Okay,
although
it's fair.
Gotta love that movie, but I'm more of a if you build it they will come kind of guy.
Field of Dreams. You can't not say it. There's so many great ones. Most recently I would say, Moneyball was fantastic. Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. But I mean, if you going back
Not
to
in the same category.
no, it's
That's not in the
it's
same
not.
stratosphere as
No,
Field of Dreams,
it's not. But it's nice to see that they're still able to make quality, baseball movies like that. But yeah, I mean, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams. I mean, you can't. I mean, the rookie.
Yeah. The Sandlot.
Oh, how can
Up there for
you
me.
forget the Sandlot? I saw
I'm looking forward to going back to movie theaters.
I know. I saw a picture the other day. Hamlin Porter, obviously much older now than his character in The Sandlot. He recreated the scene where he steps into the batter's box and points down the left field line, calling his shot.
5 strikeouts for Peyton St. George. Pulled the string on that one as she fans Nordberg.
And right there, she goes with the off-speed pitch. Nordberg way out in front there, obviously looking for something with a little bit more velocity, but that's a big strikeout for St. George's as NC State is able to turn the lineup with Angie Rizzi coming to the plate.
Peyton St. George today might have her curve breaking 2.5 feet. Bad news, Bears.
Another classic. I mean,
she's had the extra movement today. She's got swing and miss stuff, obviously. 5 strikeouts, 1 time through the order.
Rizzi, the first strikeout victim of St. George on her day. St. George has really had to labor here. I mean, 5 strikeouts, but you see that pitch count creeping up into the mid-50s, and we're not even through the second inning.
Rizzi knew it off the bat. 2-run bomb to right center field, and NC State is on the board.
And you talk about that right there, Andrew. A no-doubter for Rizzi as she flexes coming across home plate. And maybe this is what gets NC State going. She just gets a pitch on the outer half of the plate, and she knew it right off the bat. An emphatic back toss.
Well, we were talking about you got to have fun. And I know as bat flips have become more and more popular, there are some people that don't like the bat flip. But I would say, have fun.
I'm all for it personally, even as a pitcher.
I don't think you're, I mean, you're not, I don't think you're showing up the pitcher or the other team, really. Just have a little fun, especially if you hit a no-doubter like that.
Oh, goodness, yes, absolutely. Whenever you hit a ball that far, strut your stuff. Have some fun. That's the thing about it. It's a kid's game, like we mentioned earlier, and you just want to continue to have fun. And bat flips, you see the pitchers, stare down a batter after they get a big strikeout or something like that. So I think it brings a great element to the game.
Again, 5 infielders in for Duke against Tati Forbes.
And this is a great at-bat by Tati Forbes after giving up the home run, or after Angie Rizzi hits the home run, working a 3-2 count.
Struck her out to end the inning. So 6 strikeouts through 2 innings for Peyton St. George, but NC State gets a couple of runs back from Angie Rizzi. Well, happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there, the ones watching our broadcast today here in Raleigh. Duke leading NC State 5-2 as we enter the top of the third inning, and especially want to wish our two head coaches in this one a happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to head coach Marissa Young and Jennifer Patrick Swift. 7 kids between the two. Great coaches, great mothers. Know that their children are so proud of them. Excited for Coach Patrick Swift to have her kids out today watching, and I'm sure Coach Young's kids are watching from home. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
First pitch swing, and Caroline Jacobson hits it foul. Yeah, that's got to be pretty cool as a kid, you know. Bring your kid to work day, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you probably experienced that growing up. I know I did, and it wasn't as cool as going to the ballpark, I'll tell you that.
No, these kids, we saw Jennifer Patrick Swift's children on the screen just a few seconds ago, giving a new meaning to bring your kid to work day, getting to go to the ball field, softball field, to watch their NC State Wolfpack take on Duke.
Yeah, as a kid, that is just so fun. And a very special day, of course.
Yeah,
Another foul ball.
Coach Young
that gets a smile from Coach Young.
She's had to be active this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of line drives down that third base line. You see her team's telling her, "Someone, coach, catch it. Come on, catch the ball." She goes, "I was a pitcher. I didn't play in the field too often, but I was a pitcher, so I'm letting that one go by."
And Jacobson strikes out swinging. Yeah, having fun does not simply extend to bat flips. You can have fun. It's the chatter in the dugouts. It's staying loose. It's, you know.
Well, I can tell you this,
Coach right there. Hey, make a play, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. The dugout gets more excited when the coach is able to barehand a ball than maybe like a Sports Center top 10 play on some occasions. Whenever the head coach tries to catch the ball, and you see right there what we were talking about, her being a pitcher. 2002 Big Ten Pitcher of the Year. In 2003, the Big Ten Player of the Year. 927 career strikeouts and 88 career wins. So it makes sense why this Duke pitching staff is as good as it is when you have, you know, a legend like Marissa Young as your head coach. But I'm telling you, if she barehands one today at some point, her dugout might actually explode.
Yeah, over 900 strikeouts. That's the most in Michigan history. And as you could tell by those accolades and those numbers, she didn't have many balls hit hard against her. So I don't know how many plays she really had to make in the circle. She was used to just throwing the ball by batters. That worked out pretty well in her career. Torres to the left side of the infield, and there is Logan Morris of NC State. Pair of outs for Nestor here in the third. But yes, absolutely happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, to our two head coaches, of course, Coach Young and Coach Patrick Swift. Happy Mother's Day to my mom back at home. Love you, Mom. Go see her later today after this one's finished.
Yeah, I actually called my mom on the way in today. She's down in Charlotte. So happy Mother's Day to you, Mom. But yeah, I called her, talked to her. She asked me, what are you doing today? I said, well, get to be a part of the finale for NC State and Duke on the softball field. And she goes, well, I'll be watching.
Always supportive. Nestor trying to get Kyla Morris here. Won't chase the pitch in the dirt.
And obviously, if Nestor is able to get Morris here, it would be a 1-2-3 inning. But more importantly, that keeps Deja Davis leading off the next inning rather than batting with a runner aboard.
Right. You want to face her with the bases empty. Was that off of the bat? Well, I thought Morris was hit initially, but apparently glancing off the bat and not the elbow guard.
Yeah, you see right there.
Right off the knob.
Yep, right there off the knob.
And there's the strikeout. Sack applies the tag. Couple of strikeouts in the inning. Sydney Nestor goes 1-2-3 in the third. Just look at what Peyton St. George has done through 2 innings. And yeah, the pitch count is up there. Strikeouts and walks will do that, and she has had both. All 6 outs recorded via strikeout.
Yeah, other than the blemish, the 2-run home run to Angie Rizzi, she's been wildly effective keeping NC State off the base paths.
Here's the ball put in play, and that's the first out recorded. She gets Randy Farraker to pop out to short. That is the first out recorded. And really, only the second ball that's been put in play was the one that Rizzi drove out of the yard.
Yeah, so that term wildly effective really describing St. George today.
Yeah.
6 strikeouts and and a few walks to go with it.
No chance to get Sam Russ. And she has continued to add to the power in her game, but this has always been something that she brings to the table for NC State. Always an element for her.
Yeah, even if Torres is able to field it and not trip over St. George, no chance whatsoever with the speed that the all-time base stealer for NC State possesses. Sam Russ with 30 bags on the season.
And Coach Patrick Swift said, at some point, when she gets on base, when she doesn't drive it out of the park, when she gets on base, it's pretty much a double, because at some point they are going to get her to second base. And she does generally have the green light. Snap throw back down to first.
Kind of an unofficial pitch out there by St. George, as you saw Torres come out of her crouch stance right there. The respect that they have for Sam Russ noted on that 0-1 pitch.
And with Morris at the plate, Russ probably will take off at some point or another, but what she might do even before she takes off is just get Morris a better pitch to hit.
Duke clearly thinking about Sam Russ down there at first base as St. George falls behind in the count 3-1 now on Logan Morris. That's the thing that a base stealer can do. They may not actually steal the bag, but they got the pitcher and the catcher thinking they're going to steal a bag.
Morris got a pitch to hit for sure. 2-run homer to left center field. And the deficit is just 1. That 3-1 pitch was out over the heart of the plate. And Morris did not miss it.
Number 10 on the season for Logan Morris, and you mentioned it, belt high, middle in, not far enough. And NC State, that home run mindset coming to fruition here in the finale. 2 2-run home runs. Angie Rizzi last inning, Logan Morris this inning.
And the confidence for NC State starting to show up. Sack, free swinging.
Well, like you mentioned, Andrew, the ACC tournament is upon all these teams, with Chapel Hill beating Louisville just a short drive down I-40. The ball is in NC State's court. If they can find a way to win this game, they are the 6th seed. So they're building their confidence.
How about this? 169 homers.
Just ridiculous, the increase in production since Jennifer Patrick Swift has brought that home, has brought into NC State and Raleigh with that mindset. They are trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. There's no doubt about it, and they don't get cheated. I mean, since then, of those 169 or so home runs that they've hit, I'm sure there have been a few wall scrapers, but when they get a hold of it, the ball just flies over that fence.
St. George getting back to what she has done so effectively in this ball game. Another strikeout, that's number 7. A nice bounce back for her after giving up the gopher ball.
And this time a well-placed pitch on that outer half of the plate to record the 7th strikeout today. Sam Sack has gone down twice via the strikeout to St. George. So when she's on, very, very tough to hit.
Visser scoring NC State's first run today with that leadoff walk in the 2nd. Rizzi knocked her home. And now we've got ourselves a battle. You know, NC State, their mindset is not just to hit the home runs, but they tell each individual player, hey, your goal is to hit 1 home run over the weekend. Visser pops out to end the inning. So for a couple of these players, you know, Rizzi and Morris, they've got some ground to make up.
Yeah, but Logan Morris doing her best job there. A big 2-run home run. 1-run deficit now for NC State.
Been a good ball game so far, and well, the ball flying out of the Dale Softball Stadium. Christina Foreman got it started, and Duke jumped out to a big lead, Brantley.
They did, getting 5 runs in the 2nd inning. Home run aided by an errant throw from Randy Farricker. A wild pitch here from Sydney Nestor eventually brings across that 5th run, but NC State in the bottom half not going quietly. Angie Rizzi with a big 2-run home run to cut it to 3, and then in the last half inning, Logan Morris, a no-doubter over that left center field wall. NC State down only by 1 now heading into the 4th.
And this is a Wolfpack team looking to show Duke, hey, this isn't the same team that you've seen on Friday and Saturday.
No, it isn't. I mean, NC State built a little bit of confidence, even though they lost game 3 of the series, going down by this final score of 4-2. And to see them respond after giving up 5 in the second inning, very impressive for the Wolfpack.
Sydney Bolin pinch hitting. This is in Deja Davis's spot. So Nestor able to get her out.
Yeah, whatever has been bothering Deja Davis injury-wise, causing the pinch hit here by Sydney Bolin.
Well, Duke looking to be aggressive, and Sydney Nestor will take that.
Yeah, a team that has shown that they want to try to get on base either in the first or second pitch.
Yeah.
As a pitcher, you try to exploit that. You're obviously trying to throw strikes, but you're not trying to throw hittable strikes. Something low in the zone, which Sydney Nestor has done on Bolin and Tapia, getting weak ground outs to the corners to start this top half of the 4th.
And then with 2 pitches in the inning, that's an auto take right there from Cameron Jackson. So then if you're Nestor, you might as well just put one out over the middle, because you're not going to swing at the first 3 pitches there. Can't put St. George out there that quickly. I mean, she just sat down.
I mean, she probably hasn't even had a chance to take a sip of water.
Have a sip of water. Just catch your breath. Now, we saw Duke to great success, obviously, in this series, look to jump on first pitches. This is the other side of that coin, though, is that occasionally you can make some very quick outs. Nestor flies through the 4th inning, a couple of ground outs, strikes out the dangerous Cameron Jackson to end it. Peyton St. George, 7 strikeouts today. Brantley, she has been very impressive.
She has. Tati Forbes, not known for the strikeout, getting her. Sam Sack going down twice, Gracie Roberts there. But St. George has been able to work off speed and corners, and whenever a pitcher is able to do that, it's going to be a very, very tough day. So St. George, although she's been touched up twice with the long ball, she's really kept NC State at bay.
Peyton St. George out for the 4th inning. If you notice on the right side of that visor, as she turned, you could see the number 14. And she wears that on her hat to honor teammate and one of the tri-captains, Rain Wilson. Is such a close friend of hers because they're from Mechanicsville. There's Rain Wilson. They're from Mechanicsville, Virginia, at Lee High School, and played high school ball together. And how cool is that to be able to go to the next level and play Division I, Power 5 softball with your high school teammate. And so Rain Wilson, a huge part of this Duke team, and out for the year with a knee injury, and so she is honored by that 14 on the visor.
And Coach Young said, we're a family.
Yes.
We pick each other up when we're down. We boost each other. We encourage each other. And to see St. George honor her teammate and high school friend Rain Wilson with her number on the visor just shows how tight this Blue Devil team is together.
I think it's no coincidence. These programs, both these coaches fairly young in their tenure with these programs, and that family atmosphere, as you said, Coach Young is all about that for Duke, and that was something that Jennifer Patrick Swift said several times, is family first, self second. You got to put, it's not just a team, it's family, and these 2 coaching staffs have really worked to build that family atmosphere, and it pays off.
Oh, it is. I mean, both these coaches, in years 3 and 4 of their careers at these respective schools, are still trying to build their culture. What is my program going to be about? And it's a great thing to always start with family, because if you build a family mentality, you can conquer anything. And you see St. George with yet another strikeout there, gets Gracie Roberts for the 8th of the day.
So 8 for the pride of Atlee High School in Mechanicsville. And that ball was actually caught, so big smile from St. George. That's out number 2.
Yeah, the excuse me swing there by Haley Hayslip in a check. And, you know, as a pitcher, that's the reaction you get. You see a ball coming back at you, you think it's going to be smoke. So St. George is preparing herself and then realize, oh, it's hit softly. Let me field my position.
So a soft line out for out number 2. And now Rizzi, who hit the homer earlier.
And she's going up there with one thing on her mind right now, trying to tie this ball game up. You saw right there at the bottom of the screen, 12 home runs on the season. NC State with 3 now after the Logan Morris home run with double digits. Morris with 10, Rizzi with 12, and the ACC home run leader, Randy Farricker, sitting at 16.
Popped up and out of play. Pitch number 90. Called strike 3. 9 on the day for Peyton St. George. Final day of ACC regular season competition. North Carolina beating Louisville. That means that if NC State wins this one, they will be the 6th seed. Right now, Louisville trying to put the pressure on. If North Carolina wins again, NC State will be the 6th seed regardless of the outcome. And how about Clemson? They had that long win streak snapped, looking for revenge today against Syracuse, looking for that number 1 seed in the tournament, Brantley.
How crazy would that be for Clemson in only their second year, first official year?
Unbelievable.
To be in the ACC and to potentially win it, you know, up by 12 in the 5th. So Syracuse needing to get at least 5 runs to try and continue that ball game.
Yeah, that is impressive and hard to believe that they could be that good that early.
But when you have somebody like Valerie Cagle joining your program,
yeah.
someone who can throw as hard as she does and hit the ball as far as she does. I was watching the NC State and Clemson series, and in that first game, Cagle got a pitch that cleared the scoreboard in right field. I think it was actually still going up as it went over the scoreboard. So to see somebody like Cagle in the circle and in the batter's box, you see why Clemson could potentially secure the regular season title here today.
And Valerie Cagle on the short list for Player of the Year and the lone representative out of the ACC. You see a couple players from Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Washington. But for the most part, you know, it is Midwest and West Coast represented, and Cagle representing for the ACC. Cagle will draw a walk to start the Duke 5th.
A little bit of a tongue twister there, Cagle and Cable. Good job there by you.
Thanks, bud. Yeah. I think that is big as a whole. You know, for the ACC to add more programs, obviously Duke in 2018, Clemson coming in last year. Cagle safe at second base. Just adds to the quality of the conference, and I think that benefits teams throughout the conference because you just know the level of competition is going to be better, and it's You know, NC State just in 2015, that was huge news that they made it to the Super Regional because it had been pretty much, you know, Florida State. And Florida State is a powerhouse, but now you look at the ACC and there's so much more depth now. This is a fair ball, and Foreman is thrown out. They get Cable to third base with one away.
You know, well done there by Sam Sack. Had to make a split-second decision there to see if that ball was going to continue to roll foul. She thought it wasn't, so she picks it up and shows off that arm, getting Foreman. But as you mentioned, Duke now with a runner at third. And you see there, Georgia Tech in 2012, NC State in 2013, and since then, the ACC championship or champions have run through Tallahassee. Florida State, it appears that that streak will end with Clemson being up by 12 at this point, but nonetheless, Florida State in that national championship really kind of put the ACC on the map and gave everyone else notice that, hey, the ACC is here to play and we can compete with everybody.
And you look at Clemson and Duke, you add those two teams, and so there's more depth in the overall league where this NC State team, depending on what happens today, could be the 6, maybe even the 7 seed, and could find themselves in the NCAA tournament. And so for the ACC to get, you know, 6 or 7 teams, that's big.
That'd be huge. I mean, it just shows that from top to bottom, the conference has quality teams, and to make it to the NCAA tournament, I mean, we know for sure Clemson and Florida State will be there, Duke as well, Virginia Tech, NC State, Notre Dame trying to find a way to get in there.
Yeah.
But we know for sure there will be 4 teams from the ACC hearing their names called here in a week's time.
It'll be next Sunday, 9 o'clock, ESPN2, the selection show.
I'm excited to see how it's going to, you know, play out this season. Normally, you know, teams put in their bids to host, and then the 16 teams that are there host. Well, this year they have 20 predetermined sites. So even if you put in a host bid and you get selected, you may not necessarily be that 1 seed.
It is going to be an action-packed Saturday on ESPN2, and you get to start off with the ACC Championship, then the American, the Big 12, and the SEC, the nightcap. And so pretty much immediately following that game, as they might have a rundown, Duke is going to score as Cable broke back. Everyone is safe. Crabtree able to get to first, and so that's a tough play. We saw NC State work that out several times successfully yesterday, but there's the pressure on the base paths from Duke.
Yeah, April Visser there trying her best to hold the runner. Hard hit ball to her. You know, hindsight, you make the toss over to Hayslip with the runner down there, but you see Cable get so far down the line. At that point, you just try to run at Cable and make her make a decision, either go home or go to third to try to help yourself out. And unfortunately for NC State, Duke gets a run and no out is recorded.
So that's one you'd like to look the runner back and then go to first?
Well,
or if not, maybe just not throw behind the runner?
Yeah, from our vantage point, I couldn't actually see where Cable was down the line once Visser received the ball. So it all depends on there. If Cable is more towards third base, she's not going home. So you make the toss over to Hayslip at first and get the out. But if the runner is already down the line, you got one of two options. You either run at the runner to make the runner make a decision, go home or go to third, but you always throw in front. So you don't. So the throw could have gone to Sam Sack and getting a run down that way.
Yeah, I think once you make that commitment where you're not going to first and you're kind of in a stare down with Cable, yeah, you have to start kind of running towards her and make her make a decision. And even if, you know, Crabtree is able to reach second, That's a good trade for NC State. You know, runner on third, 1 out versus a runner on second and 2 outs. You don't really worry about Crabtree running in behind.
No, you don't. And with it being a 1-run ball game at the time, it's understandable why Visser was trying to prevent the runner from scoring. But to not record it out there, you know, just adds salt to the wound.
So Duke able to extend its lead 6-4. And again, NC State was able to get Duke 3 different times on the base paths in game 2 of the series. So when everything's working out like that, you try to go for it. Nestor now has 4 strikeouts herself. Jacobson down on strikes.
And Nestor has been, you know, very good in the circle coming in relief of Brooklyn Lucero. Climbs the ladder there on Jacobson on that 2-2 pitch. And now Nestor with 4 strikeouts on the day, trying to match her counterpart in the circle, Peyton St. George.
And so Nestor has now struck out Jacobson twice, which is extremely noteworthy because Caroline Jacobson came in to this series having walked 15 times but striking out just 8 for the entire season. And so for her to even have 1 strikeout at a game is rare, but especially 2, that is really speaks to how well Nestor has pitched.
It doesn't, you know, you look at this Duke lineup from top to bottom, not a single batter coming into the weekend has more than 20 strikeouts. You know, with multiple batters having anywhere between 120, 150 at-bats.
Yeah.
This is a team that's going to put the ball in play. And, you know, just to, you know, for reference, because they're playing NC State, you know, the Wolfpack have 4 batters that have struck out at least 20 times this season. So for Duke not to have 1 just shows that they continuously put the ball in play.
This will end the inning. Duke able to add to its lead, now up 2. The ACC tournament, Wednesday through Saturday, the 12th through the 15th, up in Louisville, as they get to host this season. In all 9 games you can watch on the ACC network or on ESPN2, and studio coverage in between the games. It's just going to be a tremendous amount of coverage from Louisville. So if you can't go there in person, you are not going to miss a single second of the action.
And the good thing for both of these teams is they both know that they will be there.
Yes.
Duke locked in, as you mentioned, to that 3 seed. NC State hovering between 6 and 7, depending on the outcome of this game, and if necessary, the game down the road in Chapel Hill between the Cardinals and the Tar Heels.
Tati Forbes against a 5-player infield. No trouble. Well, Tapia was so close, and it ends up deflecting off of her glove and finding the spot, and Forbes just goes with, you know, she's not going to let Duke change what she does. She's just going to go with what works for her and slapping it hard to the left side, and she is aboard with a base hit.
That's well done by Forbes. You know, we talked about how much harder it is to get on base with the runners, or with 3 defensive players on that left side, but Forbes finds a way to do it. And what NC State needs is they need runners for these big boppers, and Farricker, Russ, and Morris. So Forbes doing her job.
And they've actually ruled that an error right now. That surprises me. I'm giving Forbes a base hit.
Yeah, I thought that should have been a base hit as well. As hard as it was hit, and Tapia being all the way down there.
This is a base hit. Farricker gives NC State level against Duke.
The Wolfpack doing what they do best, Andrew, hitting the home run. 3 2-run home runs now. The ACC home run leader, Randy Farricker, getting in on the action, her 17th of the season. And don't look now, but we are tied here in Raleigh as she goes down to get that pitch at the ankles. And you see the excitement there. The let's go, and we got a ball game here in the 5th.
Well, this is an NC State team that is used to winning ball games, and they have struggled towards the very end of this regular season because they've been playing such a difficult schedule and have been in a lot of close games. And you can see the emotion pouring out right there. This is a game that they badly want to win.
I mean, at one point during this season-ending stretch between LSU, Clemson, Florida State, and now Duke, you see there 3 home runs today, no big flies in the first game. But during that stretch, they actually lost 4 consecutive games by 1 run. Two of them, I believe, were walk-offs in the 7th inning. So just a tough way to end the season, and to be right there on the precipice of winning these games just makes it that much more frustrating. So the Wolfpack looking to break through with that here.
And they know that they are a better team than they have shown in this series. And today, I think showing that to Duke. And, you know, St. George has had the strikeout stuff today. Has struggled with command a little bit early on. No walks since the 2nd inning. But again, that ERA is microscopic for St. George. And to touch her up for 3 home runs says a lot about this offense.
And she's now given up 13 home runs on the season, 3 of them coming today. So a pitcher that's not necessarily known for giving up the home run in 130 innings so far.
And walking Russ, and again, we talked about that earlier. That's kind of like giving up a double.
Walks are never good, but walks to base runners like Sam Russ are that much more difficult because she walks or gets a single. Essentially, it is a double, like you said, Andrew. Very few times in her career has she been thrown out stealing bags.
And so will Coach Young make a pitching change here? Here comes Shelby Walters. Tie game, nobody out here in the 5th with a runner on. Partial line here for Peyton St. George is responsible for Sam Russ on first base. 9 strikeouts. That was the positive today, but the 3 home runs allowed are really the difference maker.
Yeah, the home runs, St. George has not really had a bunch of this season, and the walks plaguing her as well. As you saw, 99 pitches and just over 4 innings of work, but she gives way to the other ace of the Duke staff in Shelby Walters, 15-3 on the season. A microscopic ERA of 1.23 in just under 120 innings pitched. Fastball in the upper 60s, can touch 70. She is in a jam now with Logan Morris.
Fair ball down the third base line. Here comes Russ into third, and she's safe. Runners on second and third, nobody out as Morris doubles. Well, that is how she greets Shelby Walters.
On the hesitation by Sam Russ as she rounded second base, almost was a bad situation for the Wolfpack. As you see, she gets off here, holds up at second, isn't real sure, but she's so fast, is able to make up for it and slide in safely at third in the Wolfpack. Runners at second and third, nobody out.
NC State has not led in this series. And it's going to be tough for Shelby Walters to prevent that from happening here with nobody out in 2 in scoring position. But again, she has risen to the top of this staff, even though she started the year 3rd on the depth chart, but is obviously motivated to work extremely hard, had that chip on her shoulder, and through a lot of hard work and dedication has been the go-to arm for Duke.
I mean, to see, the depth chart at the beginning of the season and find yourself third, it is a little bit of a gut punch, and you have a decision to make at that point. Do you fold and let it, take over you that you're number 3, or do you say, okay, I'm not third best pitcher on this team. I'm number 1 or 2 at the worst. I'm going to work at it.
Sack to short, and Cable, beautifully done by Jamison Cable. That was textbook. Looks back Russ, who again has tremendous speed at third base, and then rifles a throw to first on the money, and no chance for NC State to get that run across.
Yeah, if Cable doesn't look Russ back there, she likely scores as fast as she is. So, as you mentioned, that's exactly how you want to do it. Field it. You know your runner, Sam Sack. She's no Sam Russ on the base pass, but you got time, so you look back Russ and then fire over to first to get the out.
Visser laying down the bunt. Play at the plate. Safe. Russ didn't touch initially. She sneaks back in on the backside to give NC State the lead. Wow, what a fantastic play there by Sam Russ. Initially getting by the catcher Torres. I don't know how she was able to get in there. How did Torres miss the tag there? Look at it from this angle. I mean, it looked from the first angle that she did tag her.
Yeah, I thought there was a tag applied there.
And so Russ said, well, they haven't called me out yet. And that's how NC State takes the lead here.
I'm not sure if that was a suicide squeeze or what, but, Russ was not obviously off on the pitch. And to be able to get in there, I mean, let's talk about the toss from Crabtree there at first for a second.
I mean, does Torres not tag Russ on the hand there?
It looks like it. But that glove toss from Crabtree was perfect.
Yeah.
That was textbook.
Yeah,
Duke could not have played that any better.
So Visser able to get the run in somehow, some way, and that is how NC State takes its first lead of the series.
For Jennifer Patrick Swift and the Wolfpack, they don't care how it happens.
It happened.
The fact is that they are in the lead now. And we mentioned they control their own destiny at this point. Beat Duke today, and they get to face Duke on Wednesday as the 6-3 matchup.
That is a bizarre play.
And replay is not something that is used in ACC softball this season. I think Coach Young, looking back at this, would like that to have been an option.
No doubt.
Because it does appear that Torres tags Sam Russ as she comes across home plate.
Kaylee Lambrecht getting a pinch hit here for Gracie Roberts. And so they give Visser actually an RBI bunt single now. NC State with the lead, and there's just one out, so they could potentially put the bunt on here for Lambrecht as well. And she's going to swing away and dribble her back to the circle. And all this will do is move Visser up to second. So Morris to third and Visser to second. Lambrecht is out 1-3.
And again, good job there by Walters, fielding her position nicely and looking Logan Morris back at third. Once she froze the feet of Morris, goes to first base. Great job there by Shelby Walters.
Patrick Swift, assistant coach, out once again. We've seen Bridget Nordberg. We've seen Haley Hayslip in this spot. And it's going to be now Whitaker getting a pinch hit opportunity. So this will be the third batter in this spot, Brantley.
You know, NC State using, you know, the ability of that pinch hitter to be able to pull, you know, Hayslip for Nordberg earlier and then let Hayslip back. I believe this time Libby Whitaker will find her way at first base after this at bat, if my memory serves me correct on the ruling here. But nonetheless, going to another freshman right-handed here. Whitaker does have home run ability. She's hit a few on the season. A home run here would really put the momentum in NC State's favor.
So you can close the book on St. George with Russ scoring. 7 runs, 6 of them earned because Forbes was ruled technically an error. Walters just one pitch away from potentially getting out of this inning. NC State has already struck for 3 here in the 5th and threatening for more.
The way Duke's been swinging the bat this weekend, 1 run is easily able to be overcome. So NC State with an opportunity with runners at second and third. A base hit here by Whitaker. At least 1, possibly 2. 3 runs is a whole lot harder to come back from late in a ball game with only 6 outs left for Duke.
Struck her out, Shelby Walters. But NC State takes its first lead of the series.
And that's thanks to Randy Farraker. She goes down and hits the game-tying 2-run home run. NC State leads now 7-6.
Well, here's a look at some of the first meetings in this long, storied rivalry between Duke and NC State. A football shutout in 1924. How about the basketball score? That's what pops out to me. 30-27 was a high-scoring game back in 1912. That was a big win for Duke in a barn burner.
I mean, that's shooting the lights out of the ball back then in the early 1900s, a 30-27 victory. But in 1897, you know, both baseball fans here, Trinity College, which eventually became Duke, beating NC A&M by a score of 7-3. And then, of course, Duke softball versus NC State softball in 2018.
Yeah, a lot has changed since the late 1800s.
I'd say just a little.
I mean, you know, both universities changing names. That was, you know, back in the 19th century. That was back, the colors for NC A&M, to be obviously NC State University. The school colors were not red and white back then. They were pink and blue. Ground out will start the Duke 6th inning.
Yeah, I think the red and white looking a little bit better for the Wolfpack than the pink and the blue for A&M. The red and white now the staple for NC State.
That was back, you know, when the team was the Red Terrors.
And interesting here.
The history is always fun to go into, and
well, you find out so many things about both of these schools, and you dig deeper, looking at the players and the coaches. Speaking of players, it looks like Deja Davis back into the ballgame.
And she's going to get aboard. Whitaker is manning first base. That ball was just smoked by Davis.
Yeah, you could see Whitaker there. She knows she should have been able to secure that one, even though Davis absolutely roped that down the first base line. And that's, errors, earlier talking about the walks for St. George that could come back to bite you. Errors as well, but errors with runners like Deja Davis can be extra costly.
Another hard hit ball, and this is a fair ball. Davis will have to stop at third, and Duke looking for a quick answer. Giselle Tapia with her first hit today.
And it just gets under the glove of Libby Whitaker. Would have been a fantastic play had she secured it. But nonetheless, Duke, they put up 5 in the second, 1 in the fifth. They're going to need at least 1 between now and the 7th inning to continue the ball game. But nonetheless, Duke doesn't want just 1 here, Andrew. They want to get at least 2 and take back that lead.
And so Duke will send in a pinch runner. Lange to pinch run. Kendall Lange, seen her a few times in this series.
And it looks like NC State's playing even with the bag at second and short. Visser a little bit further back because of the pull ability of Jackson, but Farraker is pretty much even.
Boy, the Duke left-handed hitters are wearing out the pull side right now. We saw the Davis hit, Tapia, and now Jackson just fouled.
I mean, this is gut check time here for Sydney Nestor and NC State. You're able to take the lead in the bottom half of the fifth, and Duke threatening with one out here in the sixth. A ground ball could potentially turn 2.
Sydney Nestor and the Wolfpack in a different position now, trying to protect a lead. And a different kind of pressure involved there. This ball will trickle to second, but Duke will get the tying run as Davis touches home and not hit hard enough to turn 2 on. And NC State fortunate there really to get 1 out.
Yeah, not hit hard at all. Davis having to hold because it was hit in the air, but with Visser unable to field it cleanly, Davis is able to score. As you see her holding and then going as she sees it get past Sydney Nestor. NC State very fortunate, like you said, that it bounced off of Visser's foot towards Farraker at second.
So Duke able to score the tying run here in the 6th. Can Jamison Cable and the Blue Devils take the lead? 2 out here. Jackson aboard first.
Coach Young still refusing to try to barehand one. She tried to use the foot there and stop it. At some point she's going to get one, and I'm telling you, the dugout is going to lose it.
Seeing Cable has got aboard a couple times. No hits to this point. So officially 0 for 1, but the stat sheet is pretty busy there. On the ground, through Visser, into right field. So the inning will continue as what I assume they will charge Visser with an error.
And you mentioned Duke really peppering that right side. Just wearing out Whitaker and Visser this inning. You know, pretty hard hit ball there by Cable. But nonetheless, I think Visser would tell you that she should have had that one. Kind of like Libby Whitaker, as we see here on the screen.
And I spoke too soon. That is ruled as a hit.
I mean, you could see it one way or the other. I mean, Visser was shaded a little bit more towards second base, so she had to go a long way to get to that ball.
Sure.
But ask any athlete if, there's a borderline play and they get their glove on it, they think that I should have made the out. You see right here. It's hit hard, but Visser just unable to corral it.
So now here comes the Duke second baseman, Christina Foreman. Already a home run today, 3 in the series. And while Duke would certainly take the big fly, don't necessarily need it here. Just looking for Foreman to come through with a single and give Duke the lead. Well, she may have just given Duke the lead all the way to the track, and it disappears over the right center field fence. How about a 4-home run weekend for Christina Foreman?
And just when NC State is able to take the lead for the first time this weekend, who better than Christina Foreman? The 3-run home run, and Duke back up by 3 now, leading 10-7 as they shower her with the water bottle.
Pitched down and away, and she hit it right where it was pitched.
Without actually seeing what else is going around along the ACC, you'd have to think Christina Foreman's got a great shot for a Player of the Week honors. Now 4 home runs on the weekend, 2 for 3 today with 2 big flies, none bigger than home run number 4.
Yeah, this inning, I think, tells you a lot about the makeup of this Duke team, because they won by the run rule on Friday and won convincingly in game 1 on Saturday. Took a 4-0 lead in game 2 on Saturday. This is the first time they faced a deficit. They come up with this kind of an answer. Estelle Czech into pitch. We'll be right back. Estelle Czech is the third arm used by NC State today. Comes out of the bullpen, and the hardest thrower for the Wolfpack, looking to throw it by Rachel Crabtree here in a left-on-left matchup.
Yeah, the lefty coming in now in relief of Sydney Nestor. So we've seen 3 arms for NC State today. The first lefty that we have seen. So a different perspective now.
Crabtree takes a strike. So Czech taking over for Sydney Nestor, 4 1/3, and just 3 hits allowed. All of them came in this inning. As NC State found itself down 5-0, a lot of credit due to Sydney Nestor keeping them in the game and in a position where they could take a 7-6 lead at the time. But in her 4th plus inning of work, the Duke offense finally got to her here in the 6th.
Yeah, once you see a pitcher for the 2nd or 3rd time, you kind of know what they've got, and especially now that they've got a 4-game series.
This ball hangs up. Rizzi glides over for the catch, and that'll end the inning.
But Christina Foreman, her 4th of the weekend. Duke now leads by a score of 10-7 after the 3-run bomb.
10-7 our score here. Duke over NC State in the bottom of the 6th. And with that scoreline, a couple of cancellations. Clemson easily locking up the #1 overall seed. Florida State will be #2. Duke will be #3. The question really now is who will be that 6th seed? Will it be Louisville or NC State? Who will Duke's opponent be? And right now, NC State rooting very hard for North Carolina. They need 3 more outs in Chapel Hill.
And that's something I think that is hard for NC State fans to do, root for UNC, but that's exactly what they need right now. The Louisville, North Carolina game going on down in Chapel Hill in the 7th inning. So UNC with a 1-run lead, needing 3 outs. UNC already in the tournament now by virtue of beating Louisville in game 1. But if UNC wins this game, no matter the outcome for the Duke-NC State game, NC State will be the 6th seed.
Fly ball on the right, and there is Jacobson. So Rizzi, who had the home run earlier today, she's the first out here in the 6th. Right, so NC State will either play, and how about this? So this is the switch again. So Jacobson sprinting over to left, so they can bring in Cameron Jackson into the infield. Again, Tati Forbes, they ruled it an error. You and I would have given her a hit. Either way, she's had success against this defensive setup.
She has, and she's going to need to do it again here, because NC State down by 3 with only 5 outs left to go in the ball game. Need runners aboard so that Farraker, Russ, and Morris have the opportunity to try to drive them in.
Forbes able to get on base and score, which is key for her after striking out in her first 2 at-bats. And, of course, you never want to strike out, especially as a slap hitter, though. I mean, slap hitters they just cannot strike out for their team. Their job is to obviously put the ball in play and put pressure on the opposing defenses. And that's what Forbes will do here. Safe at first. And it's really just that simple.
It is. As someone as fast as Tati Forbes, all she's got to do is get the ball on the ground. She can hit it hard or she can hit it soft. And in this case, she hits it, fairly hard over into shortstop, but is just able to beat it out. And that's what you bring Tati Forbes to Raleigh for, is to pound it into the ground and beat it out for infield singles.
And nothing wrong there for Duke defensively. You got plenty of defenders, right? Plenty of infielders. And now Randy Farraker with a chance. Takes off speed. That outside corner just has not been given to them. Walters changing speeds well. This time Farraker a bit late.
And Andrew Farraker can find a way to get on here with Russ on deck. No stranger to those late game heroics. We talked about it earlier. 3 walk-off hits for the junior left fielder this season. Although it wouldn't be a walk-off here, it would be huge if she were able to send one over that fence and tie the ball game, should Farraker reach.
Yeah, this game, obviously high scoring. You don't really feel like, as she does get on base, and that walk will bring up the tying run to the plate. You just really don't feel like in this game any lead is really going to be safe.
No, not in the slightest bit. You knew the finales was going to be, a slugfest with the return of those players that were unavailable on Friday night, and Forbes and Morris and Rizzy. All three of them made contributions so far this game. Rizzy and Morris both leaving the yard, and Forbes finding a way on base 2 out of her 4 at bats.
Russ back into the circle. And Walters going to take that sure out. And that's really knowing the scouting report right there. Sometimes you might think about maybe spinning to second. There's no way you're going to turn 2 on Sam Russ.
No, and with a 3-run lead,
you got to just take the out.
You take the sure out instead of, the momentum of the ground ball back to her was taking Walters over towards Crabtree at first, so you make the decision. And here's an interesting development. By recording Russ out at first, it opens first base. Although you don't want to load the bases, it might be advantageous for Duke to do so, since Logan Morris is at the plate, who has already left the yard once.
Yeah, home run and a double for Morris, so she's had a big game. Meanwhile, Sam Sack, who is behind her, is 0 for 3. But, of course, the risk you run is you're putting the go-ahead run to the plate for a team that swings freely, and Sack has hit 7 home runs this year.
Well, I'll be interested to see how Coach Young is going to pitch Morris here. If she's going soft away, it's the old unintentional and intentional walk. But if you're going to, obviously you pick your poison here. Personally, I would take my chances against Sam Sack rather than Logan Morris. And as I say
that was not soft or away.
As I say that, they go hard in. So,
yeah, they are going to go right at the ACC's leading RBI.
That's why I'm up here, and that's why Coach Young is down there calling the shots.
Morris hits it hard, but right at Foreman, and that ends the inning. Duke with the 3-run advantage over NC State here in the top of the 7th. And Shelby Walters pitching to the ACC RBI leader. Able to get out of the frame, no damage done. Score update in Chapel Hill, and this is big news. North Carolina needed just 3 outs, leading 3-2. It's been a 3-run 7th for Louisville, so as it stands right now, the Cardinals will be the 6th seed in the ACC tournament.
UNC still with an opportunity to bat in the bottom half of the 7th, but like you said, 3 runs for the Cardinals in the top half, and so if it ends right now, like you said, Louisville will be 6, NC State the 7, facing NC State. NC State and UNC would play in the first round matchup on Tuesday, but the Wolfpack and the Tar Heels still opportunities to try to win their respective home matches or home games. Duke trying to expand that lead here in the 7th. Make the Grand Slam a non-factor, because that's what NC State will be trying to do.
Jacobson chases high for strike 2. Yeah, Duke has already locked up the 3 seed. This game today is really for bragging rights. It's to go on the road and sweep a 4-game set. Yeah, for NC State, obviously playing for the seeding, and they don't really have to pay attention to what's going on in Chapel Hill right now. That is all rendered moot if they can come back and beat Duke here today.
It is, but one way or the other, NC State will be facing a crosstown rival in their first round matchup in the ACC tournament. Will it either be the Tar Heels of UNC or the Blue Devils of Duke again for what would be the 5th consecutive game?
Russ coming in and diving out and making the catch. Nice catch by Sam Russ in left to take away a hit from Caroline Jacobson.
And Russ has been very good out there in left field. We saw yesterday her robbing what would have been a home run in center field. This time coming in, laying out, securing that first out here in the 7th. Sam Russ, really a fantastic defensive player for NC State in the outfield. May have jammed the wrist there a little bit. You see her trying to work it out.
A big catch, help out her freshman pitcher, Check. Pitching to the bottom of the order, and you know that leadoff batter is always so important. And again, like you said, and look, a 3-run deficit is a large one, but as Louisville just showed you, scoring 3 runs, and as NC State has shown you in this game, they can put up a crooked number. Getting that leadoff batter is so big, and as is being the 6th seed, because that extra day of rest means everything, because you're not just thinking about, that first round. Obviously, you're going to Louisville to win a ship.
Yeah, you're not packing your bag for 1 or 2 nights.
Exactly.
You're packing to play through Saturday, and it's a huge difference for NC State. Louisville obviously is going home because that's where they're from. They're hosting the tournament, but for NC State, if they were to somehow find themselves in that 7 matchup, they play on Tuesday. So you're going to have to hop on a plane as early as, tomorrow morning to get out there. Oh, excuse me, my apologies, it's Wednesday. So still, they're going to have to have some time to try to get over there. So anytime you can get that extra day, it'd be better off.
So Torres hit by a pitch, feeling some discomfort there. And NC State, I believe, asking umpires to get together and just make sure they all saw the same thing. And I wonder here if Coach Jennifer Patrick Swift is asking if there was a swing from Torres or if it perhaps hit the bat. Again, we are in a studio, not on site, so can't actually verbally hear what the request is. But the call will stand. It is a hit by pitch. Torres aboard, and now Kyla Morris.
And it looked like it caught the back wrist. Yeah, it definitely caught that back wrist. And she wasn't acting there.
Yeah, you could see from the reaction, it hit her.
Sometimes they tell you to act a little bit and make it seem like it hit you, even though it probably didn't. There was no acting right there. That was genuine pain.
And certainly looking at that replay, that she's not close to going around. And so with that hit by pitch, very likely that Deja Davis will come to the plate in this inning. Morris finds a hole through the right side. So not only will Davis come to the plate in this inning, she'll come to the plate with a couple of runners on board.
And for Duke, this is exactly who you want in the batter's box, late game, trying to expand this lead.
Deja Davis, one of the captains of this team, along with Rachel Crabtree and Rain Wilson. Win around for strike 2.
No need for the appeal there as the home plate umpire signaling the strike there, or the check swing on Deja Davis. And check really trying to get underneath the hands of the Blue Devil leadoff batter.
Well, every time we've seen her get her arms extended in this series, it's been good things for Duke. She does so here, and that's a fair ball. Down the line, and the ACC leader in triples might have one here. 2 runs are going to score. Davis into third safely. 6 triples on the season for Deja Davis, and there's the insurance runs that Duke wanted in this 7th inning.
Just a great piece of hitting there by Deja Davis. Gets something right on the line, and it hits off the black padding down that right field line. Forbes was playing it to make it all the way to the fence, but with it careening off of it like that, Deja Davis able to slide in safely at third for that triple. And you can see Patrick Swift out there arguing for his team. Potentially that ball might have been foul, but I think it caught just a hair of white paint out there.
Hey, we'll take another look at it.
I think it's right.
Looks to me it hit off the line.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I think that Patrick Swift could be out there talking to the home plate umpire about, is it being fair or foul. And, you know, as we mentioned earlier, no replay opportunities for the ACC this season, so there would have to be an overturn from the umpiring crew.
Right.
Just nothing there to justify it. So it's a 2-run triple now for Deja Davis, and that's big because a grand slam now does not tie or win the ball game for NC State.
You know, some people say that they don't like having replay, but I think this is a prime example of why I do like having it, is because, number one, let's get the call right. But number two, if you notice, the biggest complaint that people say about replay is it slows the game down. Well, if you notice, quite a bit of time went by from that triple until the first pitch here to Giselle Tapia.
Yeah,
and when you have replay, you eliminate the argument.
Yeah, there's no argument whatsoever, and I think that's, you know, one thing. You know, you've done some baseball games this year around Raleigh, so I think that's something, you know, I've watched hearing you talk about. If you're gonna have it so you get it right. And even if there was replay there, it probably would have confirmed the call of it being a fair ball.
Whitaker with room makes the catch. And even Deja Davis, as aggressive as we've seen her on the base paths, and not going to look to advance and score on that.
Yeah, that's probably the right call there by Deja Davis to hold.
Yeah, you got Cameron Jackson's having a huge series. Give her a chance to drive you in. And what they've done, and you said the goal for Duke in this inning was to eliminate the grand slam as a factor. And a lot of times in sports, you know, you talk about it, football, basketball, you talk about it being a one-possession game. In softball or baseball, I think you would call it, you know, a one-swing type game. And so now NC State is not going to be able to tie or take the lead on one swing.
And you know that's exactly what they were hoping to try to do in the bottom half of the 7th. Keep it a 3-run deficit. Find a way to turn that lineup over. They've got 6, 7, 8, and 9 due up here in the bottom half. So if they can find a way to get a couple on and turn it over to Angie Rizzi, who already has a home run, then perhaps you could have tied that ball game.
Jackson hit by the pitch. And the torch is passed to Jamison Cable. The senior from Duluth, Georgia, just an old school ball player. Has played every position at Duke except for catcher. And Coach Young can put her in the lineup, back cleanup, and again with Davis kind of transitioning to outfield today, designated player. You know, Cable, no problem going back to shortstop where she played in her younger years at Duke, and wherever you want to plug her in defensively, she's going to be able to play.
And she's listed as an outfielder on the official roster, but I think it should say utility next to it.
You put really UT up there. Yep.
She does everything. So to have a luxury that is Jamison Cable in your lineup, I think is so refreshing, and just it's just a calming presence to have somebody like that, to know that you can put her anywhere on the field and she's going to produce, and she's going to do it at a high level too. It's not just sticking somebody out there for the heck of it. If she's going to play that position, she's going to make sure she's the best one at it that day.
Well, after NC State took that 7-6 lead, it has been 6 runs unanswered by the Blue Devils, and potentially a lot more here. You got Cable, and in a 3-0 count, you either maybe leave one out over the heart to Cable, or if you're too careful, Foreman is on deck.
And it looked like she was taken all the way there. I was going to ask you, with a 5-run lead now, do you swing 3-0 with one of your best players? Obviously, the answer ended up being no. You're going to take that pitch, but you could really put an emphatic stamp on the ball game with one swing of the bat.
Well, that was a challenge pitch there by Czech. Full count. I think maybe in certain situations you do, but maybe not with Foreman on deck, because she's already hit 2 homers today, and you wouldn't mind just taking a walk. So I probably wouldn't green light 3-0. And there is the walk, and so here comes Christina Foreman. And sometimes, you're going to go through your peaks and valleys in any sport. Right now, Foreman has to have all the confidence in the world. It's got to be looking like a beach ball coming in. I
mean, there's hot, and then there's white hot. And then there's Christina Foreman this weekend. I mean, I think a beach ball might be too small for the way she's seeing it. She is just locked in right now.
Looking for an exclamation point on what has been an outstanding series. Foreman to left field. Just in front of the track, Russ makes the catch. Well, she gave the wall a scare, just that close to a grand slam. Bottom of the 7th in Raleigh on a beautiful day for softball. The final regular season game. So we come down the stretch here in the ACC. Duke trying to put the finishing touches on what would be a 4-game sweep. And NC State trying to claw back. We just received word over in Chapel Hill, a final. Louisville has beaten North Carolina in Game 2 of their doubleheader. And so that means that if the Blue Devils can protect this 5-run lead and win here in Raleigh, then they would face Louisville as the 6th seed. Yeah, Game just went final. How about Louisville? How clutch is that? 5 runs in the 7th, Brandley.
Yeah, that's a great rally there by the Cardinals, and it helps build the momentum going into the ACC tournament. I mean, they're playing at their home field.
Sam Sack with a leadoff single.
But like you were saying, with that game now final, if the score holds in this one and Duke does complete the sweep, NC State will face UNC Chapel Hill on Wednesday in the 7-10 matchup. But watching this NC State lineup today, you knew that they were likely not going to go down without a fight, and Sam Sack quickly here in the bottom half with a leadoff single. If one more NC State batter is able to reach, the likelihood of seeing Angie Rizzi is that much greater.
Here's a strike to Visser. If you noticed, Louisville with the win, record now 15-21-1, a tie. NC State came into today at 15-21. So that tie really is the difference.
It's a tiebreaker, as you would say.
Yeah, as Visser strikes out looking. April 25th, at home against Florida State, Louisville and FSU tied 0-0 in 11 innings. And that was the second game of a doubleheader on a Sunday. And so when you go 11 innings, eventually FSU has got to go home to Tallahassee, and you set that rule late.
Yeah, that drop dead time.
The travel rule is, hey, no inning is going to start later than this time, and you almost never run into it. Well, they ran into it, and no score through 11 innings. And so that tie is going to be the difference, because it's based on win percentage in a year where, certain teams have played, fewer games or more games than other teams. Lambrecht, I believe that was fouled off of her foot. I thought so initially, and obviously Tapia and the Blue Devils, you never want to assume anything. You've got to play there, go ahead and make it, and let the umpire stop you. Tapia was smiling. I think she was ready to go. She
thought that was going to be a game-ending 5-4-3 double play.
So we can turn this one. Hard hit, but foul.
You got to tip your cap off to Louisville, though. Losing the first game in Chapel Hill today, down to their final 3 outs in the 7th inning, and able to put up 5 runs.
Yeah, that is clutch. And North Carolina got what they wanted. They just needed to win one of the 2 games to secure that number 10 spot. So they are waiting on Wednesday for the 7 seed. And after the foul tip strikeout of Lambrecht, the 7 seed 1 out away from being NC State.
And Walters just painting that outside corner. Nothing Kelly Lambert could do there. And you're right, NC State down to their final out, looking to recreate that Louisville magic potentially and try to find a way to get 5 runs here in the 7th. To extend this ball game.
Madeline Curtis pinch hitting. So I have run out of room here in my scorebook in the 9 spot for NC State. We've seen 4 different batters now.
The Wolfpack really utilizing their entire bench here for that 9 spot. We've seen Hayslip, Nordberg, Whitaker, and now the senior Madeline Curtis.
Duke really was pushed today in a big way. NC State taking that 7-6 lead in the 5th inning. And it was gut check time for the Blue Devils, and they came back with 6 runs over the next 2 frames. Very impressed with their response to adversity today.
Yeah, and a team that really hasn't faced much adversity this weekend, and it looked like Game 4 was going to be like Game 1, where they put up 5 runs in the 2nd inning. But you mentioned NC State fought back and was able to eventually take the lead by a score of 7-6. Now, Duke showing their own resiliency and showing that they can play from behind and sport a 5-run lead here with 2 outs in the 7th.
And that is the last thing Walters wants, is to give NC State base runners, but more importantly, as you said, to bring up Rizzi and the top of the order, and this is where the danger is.
For NC State, this is all you could really ask for. Find a way to turn the lineup over to Rizzi, Forbes, and Farraker.
Angie Rizzi with a home run today. Rizzi, Farraker, and Morris have all gone yard. Those 3 now in double-figure home runs. It was Morris who hit her 10th to join Rizzi and Farraker. NC State, the only team in the ACC with 3 players with double-digit home runs.
Yes, thank you, the SID for NC State, Courtney Day, sending us that little piece of information.
Ran it up and in for strike 2. Rizzi strikes out looking, and Duke has done it. On the road, a 4-game sweep of NC State as they battle back from a 7-6 deficit heading into the 6th inning today and win it by a total of 5. 12-7 the final score. What a weekend it was, Brantley, for the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, Duke extending their win streak to 12 in a row now. White hot going into the ACC tournament next week, where they will be the 3 seed, looking to carry that momentum. NC State will be the 7 facing UNC Chapel Hill.
So we look forward to the ACC tournament starting Wednesday, May 12th, and concluding Saturday at noon, the championship game on ESPN2. For Brantley Hattrich, our great crew here in Raleigh, my name is Andrew Sanders, saying so long, happy Mother's Day. The final score, Duke 12, NC State 7.